UFC Fight Night Seattle, Adesanya versus Pyfer finished up last night, and this was a pretty good card. It had a lot of finishes, had a lot of weird moments from the refs, but I figured I'd go through today and summarize the main card, talk about my picks, which I didn't do too well, but I don't think anybody did. I'm going to cover the earlier matches a little bit, but the main event is kind of the big piece, so if you want to go ahead and jump to that, check the caption or check the description below. I'll have time frames on there, and if you're down there, drop a like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and start with the opener of the main card, which was Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. I want to say we picked McKinney. Now, McKinney, before this fight, was saying that he was going to come in the much more composed fighter. He said a first-round finish is always there if I see it, but I'm going to try to be more composed in this matchup. And he didn't. Bad out of hell. Toughest first round for anybody. I mean, the dude could beat him if you give him one round. 24 seconds in, he barrages Kyle Nelson. Now, the finish was a bit weird because it seemed like he landed a body kick or like it landed on the arms of Nelson. And Nelson just hit the floor, covered up. Maybe there's something else we didn't really see there, just the chaos, and it caused him to fall. But he ended up falling, and McKinney just landed some nasty ground and pound. Ends up TKOing him to a win. And all this blood was from Tafik Messiah versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Fuck you, Messiah, you little cheat, you little dirty rat. You grabbed the cage. You bit him, I think. You headbutted him, which cut him open. It's pathetic, absolutely disgusting. I just had to touch on that, but I didn't want to cover the prelims. But yeah, either way, good fight for Terrence McKinney. We got that pick right, and let's go ahead and move on to Mansour Abdulmalik versus Isreal Balgaroui. Now, this one was kind of an easy pick. I took Isreal Balgaroui. A lot of people were, going off the odds. I don't know why Isreal was the underdog. Mansour Abdulmalik, if you've looked into his career, he beat, what was it? Tricoli, Vanderford, was it? He beat 3 cans essentially. Like he's an even less proven version of a Teba Gautier. Both of those guys are kind of can crushers at the moment, and I knew that Isreal Balgaroui was an established kickboxer. The guy went to war with Pereira and Adesanya back in his K1 days, and he trains with Pereira now, specifically Glover Teixeira's gym, and that has built his takedown defense to an amazing level. Mansour Abdulmalik was not able to get anything going, no takedowns, no strikes, because Balgaroui moves quick. He was able to get a few takedowns, but Balgaroui's takedown, his defense didn't do the best, but his get-ups were where it was at. He was able to get up, and he put it on Mansour Abdulmalik, and in the third and final round, kind of a sequence, he was landing pretty much at will. Mansour had started to gas, and then as he ran away, Balgaroui went to hit him in the body with a knee. He ducked down straight to the chin, got put out. I'm going to say cold, but he wasn't completely out. But either way, an insane KO, TKO for Isreal Balgaroui. I don't know how anybody picked Mansour Abdulmalik. I don't know how Isreal was an underdog. If you had done any research on these guys' recent fights in their tenure, maybe Mansour Abdulmalik's looked a bit more scary, but I definitely think Isreal Balgaroui is the guy who's been more proven in this, and that showed tonight, or that night. So great win for Isreal. We move on to Julian Erosa versus Larion Douglas. This was Larion Douglas' debut, so it was obviously a really big bet for me and other people to take him, but again, if you knew anything about this guy, crazy finisher, crazy power, and Julian Erosa is dangerous. I mean, the dude has taken some killers to decisions in which he's lost, but he's survived is what I'm trying to say. And he wasn't able to do that here. I want to say, 3 minutes, about 3.5 minutes into the first round, Larion Douglas already put an insane amount of damage on Julian Erosa's face, had him cut, had him bloodied up, had him busted. He was not looking great, and just a flurry sequence. I mean, Larion Douglas started to put it on him. They were exchanging in the pocket. I don't think this was the finishing sequence, but pretty quickly after this photo was taken, there was just an exchange in which Julian Erosa got hit with a pretty good shot, kind of hurt, shelled up, hit the cage, came back, tried to re-engage, and Larion Douglas hit him with a shot that put him face first into the canvas. Larion's going to be a problem, dude. He's got really good grappling. I think he trained with the Cub Swanson, so he's got some OGs in his corner to help him mentally and kind of just brace him for everything that he's going to see in that octagon. Great one for Larion Douglas. We predict these things. Julian Erosa is good, but he's just not good enough to beat an up-and-coming guy that's as proven as Douglas, because if you did your research, Douglas is a killer, man, and I want to say I took him to win. So, main card 3-0. We'll go ahead and move on to Michael Chisea versus Nico Price. We picked Chisea to win this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Nico Price is just a little, guy that the UFC chucks a little bonus to for him to throw fights. He's done this for Robbie Lawler, too, now it seems. Nothing much to say. Round 1. They both go a takedown apiece, but Chisea gets to his back, submits Nico Price. Obviously, they're giving Michael easy matchups because he never sued them for the Conor McGregor-Dolly incident. He kind of got a free ride of a UFC career as well as a send-off, and he has a career after with commentating with them. But I guess it's a good win for Michael Chisea. Nico Price was good at one point in some way. Like, he could find a finish, but the dude has zero chin, 0 grappling, and his body is built like it hurts. So we predict these things. Great win from Michael Chisea. We move on to the co-main of Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Now, this was a crazy fight and a crazy finish. It wasn't a crazy fight. Well, it is from what I'm about to say. I saw a rumor on Twitter that Macy Barber shit her pants. I saw a photo where it was looking a little dark back there. Obviously, this was a very quick fight. Alexa Grasso, Macy Barber striking on the feet a little bit. Macy didn't even get a chance to get any grappling off. She didn't even attempt to take down. And I think Grasso threw a jab out there and then threw a 2 that slept Barber out cold on the feet instantly. And as soon as Barber hit the ground in like a eyes wide concussion knocked out stance, Grasso went for the ground and pound, saw where she was at, was like, hold on, latched up the back, latched up a rear naked choke, and the ref was like, no, this girl's out, because the rear naked choke was in and Macy Barber's going absolute cinema stance. So clearly she was way out from that punch, out enough to probably shit herself. I picked Barber on this one, so we got it wrong. I thought maybe she had done the adjustments and Grasso was a bit over the hill in her career, but apparently not. Apparently Shevchenko's just that much of a wet blanket when she wants to be. Grasso's pretty good, man. She's got power in her hands. Great one for her. I mean, Macy Barber has now, in and out of the cage, had a traumatic brain injury, per se. I guess that seizure she had right before the walkout counts. She's got to take some time off and heal, man. I understand she posted that she's all good, on to the next, but, that was damage, man. Getting put, pretty much knocked out to where your eyes are just wide open, like Erica Kirk staring, it's not good. And Alexa Grasso really proved me wrong on this one. She came out with way better striking than I thought she would. Hats off to her. I could see her being in the title picture. I don't know if she becomes a champion ever again, but she clearly can put it on these youngins. So great win for her. We move on to the main event and the controversial headline of this video title, because I know I'm going to name it something suggestive that Izzy fans aren't going to like. Is Izzy done, man? Because if you watch my prediction video, I kind of said I think Pyfer's going to find his chin, but if I'm a betting man, which I was tonight, fuck you, Tafik, I didn't bet on Izzy, but I thought Izzy might be able to use his movement because he was looking good. Round 1, he was jabbing Pyfer, hitting with that leg kick. Pyfer's very heavy on that lead leg, and he was doing very good. Round 2, not so much. Pyfer figured out how to turn the body cam off. No, he remembered that he cheated on his girlfriend and then wanted to kill himself, and now they're still getting married. That's a crazy story. Pyfer comes out in round 2, more or less the same, but at one point he lands, I think, a left or a right hook on Izzy that was pretty hard, definitely stunned Izzy, puts him up against the cage, and when Izzy backs up against the cage, the Pereira highlights 1 in a million. That was probably the luckiest shot he's landed in his whole career. You can say salty, you can say what you want. Objectively, as an MMA fan, you have to realize Pereira was winning that fight. Adesanya hasn't looked good, and that was the last clutch factor that he was able to muster out of his career. And I think it was lucky, and it showed here, because when Pyfer put him up against the cage and Izzy tried to maybe play just a bit more possum than he was and look for that counter shot, Pyfer was able to see it coming, put more damage on Izzy, and just kept teeing off. I think then he was able to get a takedown on Izzy, and Izzy was kicking his feet on his like a little girl on her bed, talking to her crush. While Pyfer was raining down shots to the back of his head, he had him in full mount, belly down. Just sad from Isreal Adesanya. He's really starting to look his age the more I look at him. Dude's 38. He said he's not retiring, which we're about to see a Tony Ferguson decline. But a great one for Joe Pyfer. Here's the thing, is Izzy's probably done, man. He lost to Duplessis by submission. He got chinned by Pereira. He got chinned by Amavov. And he got decisioned by Strickland. And now he's been TKO'd again by Joe Pyfer. Clearly, there's something missing there. Whether it's his drive, whether it's his speed to find these shots, his durability. Something has started to wilt. But I really want to present the question, was Adesanya's title reign really that good? Because that's kind of what this fight frames us into is, look, we kind of got a backstep now because while Joe Pyfer's good, Jack Hermanson beat Joe Pyfer. And I understand Joe Pyfer can make adjustments, but I want to give Izzy his credit and say that at one point, Izzy was indefinitely levels above Pyfer. But maybe he wasn't. Maybe Izzy's opponents made him look levels above. But maybe Izzy himself was not that great. I understand I should have had it up before this video started. But I'm going to open up Isreal Adesanya's Tapology. We're going to go through this together. Because I think by the end of this video, instead of calling me a stupid idiot, a casual who doesn't give a former champion his praise and his flowers, which I think he should get some, I think it's fair to critique his thing. So let's go back to his prime reign, right? Okay, on the come up here. you have. We'll start here, just after his UFC debut, where the name started kind of having value, right? And this doesn't really matter. We're not, and it's not until I get into the championship thing, but you have Vettori, Tavares, Brunson, and a very old Silva. All by finish, but decision. Vettori was close. Now let's get into the championship reign, right? Because this is where I say I think his reign is a bit overrated, okay? Here we go. Kelvin Gastelum. This was in my hometown back in 2019. He went to war with him. I don't know if you've seen the photo. Izzy had like a swollen face, like both sides of his cheeks were just battered. I understand Kelvin Gastelum's hard to put away. I mean, Pyfer himself couldn't do it, but Izzy was getting hurt bad. He got dropped at one point at Gastelum or hurt really bad, and instead of going for the kill, Gastelum shot takedowns like an idiot. So this title win wasn't too impressive because he wasn't able to put away Gastelum. Granted, nobody is, but he was taking a lot of damage off of him. He wasn't evading him. Then we move into his first title defense, which was very good. This was one of his better wins. Robert Whittaker, surgeon guy. He was, I think, the former champion. So he won, I think, an interim title against Gastelum. That kind of takes that back. And he unified it against Whittaker. So the Whittaker fight was really good. I think it was down under, so Whittaker had a lot of pressure on him. Got caught. It is what it is, right? That is a very good, legitimate win for Adesanya. But now is where it starts getting bad. The very next fight, Yoel Romero. Do I need to say anything, dude? I just hit this. Do I need to fucking say anything? The Yoel Romero stand still and do nothing, right? And granted, you can say Yoel Romero wasn't contributing, but Izzy should have done more than just leg kick at range. He should have tried to set up a more efficient counter. He should have tried to maybe make him think about a takedown threat. I understand it's Yoel fucking Romero, but I'm allowed to critique. And the Yoel Romero loss and the Yoel Romero win was not even a fight. It was a leg kick sparring session in which nobody threw anything of ease. Yoel landed like the one big shot on Izzy, and Izzy just outpointed him using leg kicks to a decision. It was nothing impressive. It was nothing to write home about. We move on to Paulo Costa. This was a good win. This was a good win for the time. He KO'd Paulo Costa, who had been on a rise, beating up people. And this was before Costa was I think this is when Costa was undefeated. Yeah, 19-0. So this was, actually, that might be Izzy's record. So the 13-0, I think it was. Yeah. So this was when Paulo was, undefeated. He was the eraser. He was that guy. So a great win for Izzy. He was able to put away. He has some good wins. I'm not saying that his championship reign is fraudulent. That might be what the title of this video is, but I'm not saying that it's entirely fraudulent. This is kind of like Jones. You pick and choose, right? After that, he went up against Jan Blachowicz, which all the credit to him. Dude tried to challenge himself a weight class up. Got absolutely manhandled by Blachowicz. He was outstruck on the feet, and he was out-wrestled, right? Now is where it gets to probably the worst of the worst. Marvin Vettori. When you look at Izzy's career, he's already had that fight with Marvin Vettori. And granted, there was years between these fights. There was 3 years between him, and Vettori had put together a bit of a win streak before he's gone on this that he's at now. But when we watched those fights, the first one was a split decision. Granted, that wasn't a championship fight. And the second one wasn't much special to write home about either. He wasn't able to put Vettori away at all. He kind of point-fested him on the feet. I think at one point Vettori had his back. Vettori just has no grappling, so he had no rear naked ability there. So it was a bit of a pointless matchup. It was a bit of a Hendo versus Bisping. It was a bit of a O'Malley versus Vera. Maybe Vettori had a bit of a record going for him at that time, but it looked like he had taken a loss since that first fight with Izzy. I hate ads that pop up. Get off my fucking screen. Oh, and now you're gonna open a tab? Dude. This is what I hate about... I'm clicking X. I swear to God. So after that Marvin Vettori win, he goes on to take on Robert Whittaker in a rematch. Again, a lot of rematches in his career, it feels like. And I'll be honest, dude. Whittaker could have won this one. I remember this being a very close fight. There was a lot of controversy around this one. Izzy just kind of outpointed him and put a bit of damage on him. But this was very, very close, and don't get me wrong, while a champion can still be good for winning, I think the quality of that win comes into play. Like with Jones, when he took Anthony Smith to a decision and then technically could have lost via DQ, but Lionheart is mush brain and just didn't want an extra 2 free championship paychecks. Who wouldn't take that? Sterling style. Sorry if you just heard that car go by. I live off a busy road, and douchebags drive their modded cars. So the Whittaker fight was honestly very, very close, and I don't know how much credit I can give Adesanya. He's made a lot of these fights very, very close. And the Jared Cannonier one, this was the one that he did the whole Undertaker walkout with a thing of ashes, the whole dance routine, I think. and he just leg kicked Cannonier for 5 rounds. That's the thing, is Izzy, when he was in his prime, had very good IQ, I guess, but it felt like he didn't always go for the kill. He was a kickboxer, and he kind of translated that to MMA, kind of point fighting, where there's power behind his shots, but the ones he's able to land really are just going to be the leg kicks and maybe the jabs, and that's not what you want from a champion. You want a well-rounded champion. You want someone who can get finishes. I understand Izzy's had good moments, but half the highlights I see are him finishing he's finished 2 of his championship bouts. That's not great. The rest were unanimous decision. I don't think it's unfair to say that Adesanya was a bit boring in most of his fights. The guy was primarily known for leg kicking, some flashy kicks that never would really land, and it's just, and obviously getting that win back over Pereira was huge, but he was losing that fight. I'm going to say, you can't say, oh, you're salty, Pereira's out cold still. No. He was losing that fight. Pereira was pressuring him, and he played possum and got it. If you're going to say I'm salty about that, where was the possum play against Pyfer? Clearly, I'm not going to say luck, because he set it up, and I'm sure that's in his arsenal, but I don't think he lands that 9 times out of 10. I think Pereira just got cocky because he already had a win over. He had 3 wins over him going into that. How do you take a guy seriously? I do it on UFC 4 all the time. The guy eventually chins me and then quits thinking he got his 1 win, and it doesn't make any sense. So I hope you guys can agree with me on this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Let me know in the comments, if you're just going to call me a fucking idiot, then I don't care what you have to say. Clearly, you're just an Izzy fan or you just have some bias. I don't care what you have to say. If you can give me some kind of evidence or maybe claim and back that up and we can get into a discussion, I'm more than willing to, because I do think while Izzy had decent wins and he had finishes, he KO'd Pereira, he KO'd Costa, he KO'd Whitaker, great wins. His other wins inside that were boring, decision, not much output from him. You can't just blame his opponent. And we're seeing that now. Now that middleweights are a bit more put together, they've evolved. They're not just going to lose to a leg kick at range. They're bigger too. He's losing. He had lost to Pereira. Granted, it's Pereira. Sean Strickland's a smaller guy, but the guy's got way better boxing. Izzy's never had great boxing. He may have punching and knockout highlights, but his pure boxing's not good. People were saying this who were picking Strickland going into this matchup, and Strickland exposed that. Then he has no special takedown defense, and he can't, go to war anymore against a guy like Drickus, who's the goofiest one in the bunch. He had super unorthodox striking. Izzy wasn't able to do an insane a lot to him, and the dude got taken down to rear naked choked, right? Then against Nasruddin Imavov, he wasn't as fast, and Imavov was able to set it up using the takedown. Izzy, whether it's age or just his prime wasn't as long as we thought it would be, he's declining. And I think it's fair to look back at his career and go, okay, really, let's kind of put this into perspective now that we're not living in the romanticization era, and kind of just think, what were his wins? How did he win? And how much credit do I give those wins? I give him some credit. Like I said, Paulo Costa, very good. Robert Whitaker, very good. Pereira, very good. But decision. And then when he loses fights, Strickland's a decision merchant. But when he loses fights, KO, submission, KO. The guy's not durable anymore, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who does Izzy take on next? Because for some reason he didn't retire, so I don't know what's a good matchup for him at this point. I'm not even going to try to guess one. Drop an idea in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm an idiot, just say that, but I'm not going to respond to you. But if you definitely have some critiques and maybe some counters, let me know. Seeing Kenny Okoye sad made my day. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See ya.